to another exciting video where you're going to learn an exciting new technique to enhance your drafting skills. Today we're going to focus on AutoCAD. We're going to focus on a thing called a sheet set manager. I don't know if you guys have heard of sheet set manager before, but it's a real good drawing organizer that helps you facilitate your plotting. It helps you facilitate your PDFs when making PDFs. It also helps you update your title block universally on all your sheets without having to, going to each sheet and individually updating certain parameters on your title block. So let's start with the lesson. As you can see here, I have a folder. I create a folder with a basic drawing file and a title block. To start off with your project, the first thing you want to do is you want to click on your drawing file, and then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this, and then I'm going to xref my title block. So to do that, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to type in xref, enter, and I'll get my dialog box here. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and then I'm going to grab from here. I'm going to grab my title block, and I want it to be at 00, so I'll click OK, and there it is. There's my title block. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to type in SSM, enter, and that's going to activate the sheet set manager like this. So after this, what you need to do is you need to click on your triangle here, click on a new set sheet, and then you want to use an existing sample. Click next. You want to click on the new. You want to click next, and then you want to make sure you save it to the correct folder, which in here it would be on my desktop, and it would be this folder right there. So I want to save it there. So I'm going to click open, and then click next, and then I'll scroll down and click finish. So if I go back to my folder, you will see that it's now there. There's the sheet set file, and it's called AutoCAD sheet set. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to move this aside so it doesn't bother me while I'm explaining some things to you guys. So the next thing you want to do is you want to go back and open your title block, and you want to bring in all of the fonts and all the fonts and for each of the locations on your title block. So I'm going to go back to here, open my title block, and then I'm going to do a control copy at a certain point, and I'm going to grab all the text that I would typically populate on my title block, and I'm going to copy it over to my drawing file. So I'm grabbing all these and these right there, and then I'm going to go back to my drawing file. I'm going to do a control shift V, and I'm going to drop it right there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my title block, and I'm going to delete them from here because I don't need them here. Because the reason why you want to move all of your text information to your drawing sheet is because you want to be able to manipulate it from your drawing file, not from your title block, so that your sheet set manager works correctly. So we'll get rid of all these. And then we'll click save on this one, and then we'll go back to the drawing file. I'm going to reload, and there we go. Now that we're here, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to drag over my sheet set window And what I want to do next is I want to let the sheet set know which drawing file we're going to be working off. Because right now we can't do anything to this. If I were to right click here, there's nothing. There's nothing I can do because we need to bring something into the sheet set. So to do that, we need to let me go in here. You need to, because right now we're in the model views. I apologize. We want to go to the sheet list, and then from here we want to click down here. We want to right click. We want to right click on the new sheet set. You want to right click, and then you want to import a sheet layout. So you click on that one. We're going to click browse, and then we're going to go back to our desktop, our sheet set manager, and we're going to grab the drawing file that we just generated. We're going to click on the open, and then we want to make sure it's checked, and we're going to say import, and there we go. There's the sheet. So now that we have the sheet here, basically this sheet set manager, we imported this drawing file into this this portal here. So now we can do our manipulation and program it so that everything within our title block, it's linked to these tabs. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start by actually inputting fields. When I double click, what I'm going to do is let me just click X here because I brought in as a block. I'm gonna double click here. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna right click, and I want to insert a field. And then I want to make sure that I insert a field from my sheet set, which is here. So since this is going to be a number for each of the sheets, this parameter that we want, this infield that we want to incorporate, can either be a current sheet parameter, or it can be a current sheet set parameter. The difference between one or the other either is that a current sheet set parameter is universal. So that means whatever you input for that data, it's gonna populate on all of the sheets. Whereas when you use a current sheet parameter, it only focuses on individual sheets. So each sheet will have its own individual particular data that you plug in. So that's the difference. So since this number is going to be different for each of the additional sheets, we want to use the current sheet number. We'll apply OK, and that's fine. So once you see something, a background like this, that is great. That's telling you that the parameter has been set correctly. Now let's go back in here, and we'll click on this information. We'll right click, and we'll go to insert field, and we want to see whether we have a parameter for date. For the date, and we want to see if we do here for the date of it could be date issued, or we could use the current sheet issued purpose. No, we don't want to do that. We want it to be a date, but it's not giving us any parameters for a date, as you can see. So when that happens, just click cancel here, and then what you want to do is on the new sheet set here on the first icon here, you want to right click. I believe you right click, maybe not. Let me go up here. Sorry, yeah, you can right click. The only reason it wasn't working is because I had this highlighted. So going back to here, you want to right click on it. You want to click on properties, and then you're going to get the properties sheet set properties dialog. So what we want to do is we want to create a custom field for the date. So to create a custom field, you have to click here where it says edit custom properties, and then you want to add a field. But then it's going to ask you, once you click on it, it's going to ask you whether it's going to be one that's going to be for the sheet set, which will be universal. That means whatever you plug in here it'll be populated on every one of the tabs and every one of your sheets? Or do we want it to be like sheet specific? Since it's a date for the project, I want it to be populated once and not have to change it on every sheet. So I'm going to choose sheet set, and then I'm going to name it, give it a name. So I'm going to call it project date. And then down here, I can just do, do some slashes like that, and click OK, and click OK, click OK. And now I can go back to here. I can, grab it. I can right click, go back to insert field, and then on the insert field, I'm going to go to the one that says custom, current sheet set custom, because we did a current sheet set custom parameter. You click there, and then you're going to get this pop-up here. And that's the one we created. There's no additional ones because we haven't created any additional custom sheet sets parameters or infields yet. So we'll click OK, and there you go. It's populated now. Now the next thing I want to do is one for let's see if we have a date for revisions. So I'm gonna double click here and see if Autodesk has its own infield already populated. So I'm gonna go right click here. I'm gonna click on insert field. I'm gonna check to see if there's one that says revisions, and there is a revision date. So the revision date is available as a current sheet revision date, which means that each of the sheets will have its own specific date. So they're gonna have different dates. So let's say, for example, there was a revision on a certain sheet. The date will be populated on that particular sheet, but on the other sheets, it might have different dates. So we're gonna use the current sheet revision date. Click OK, and there we go. It's there now, the parameter. And then let's see if we have one for content. If we have one that'll at least give us a information as to what the sheet content is for this project. So I'm going to double click on it on the text. I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna go to insert field, and I'm gonna see if there's a project. There's a current. It has to be. It can't be a current sheet set, because that means every sheet would have the same title. So it has to be specific to the sheet. So looking at here, we have the current sheet description, which is what we want. So we're going to choose this one here. Click OK, and there we go. And then we need to grab another one so we can generate the project information, like the street of the project and so forth. So we'll double click here. We'll right click. We'll click on insert, and then for this one, since the address is not going to change for the project, we want it to be a current sheet set. So we want to look for something that will give us, and here it is, project name. We're going to choose that one because project name will incorporate also the address. We'll click OK, and there we go. And I think we pretty much covered all of them. All we need is the client information. Let's do that one. Let's double click on this information. We'll right click. We'll go to insert field. You want to see if there's something for client information. That will be sheet. It would be a sheet set. Since all of them are going to have the same information, I don't see one here. So I'm going to click cancel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to right click on this icon, go to properties. I'm going to create one. I'm going to add one, and I'm going to call it, it's going to be a sheet set because it's going to be the same client information on all of the sheets. And I'm going to just call it, I'm going to call it client information. Click OK. Click OK. Perfect. So now now that I have all my information populated on my, sorry, I haven't, I created the parameter, but I'd actually program it here. So I want to double click here. I want to grab this, right click, insert field. It's going to be a current sheet set custom because it's a custom parameter. And there it goes, it pops up there. And so far we have two of them, but we already populated that one, so this is the one that's left pending. So we're going to click on client information, click OK, and now we're good to go. So the next step, since we have all of our information inputted into our title block, now I can call this, rename this to, like, for example, S1, and I can now create multiple sheets. So I'm going to copy multiple sheets. I'm just going to make 3 of them for this example. I'm going to create 3 of them, and then create another one, right click, copy, move to the end, just like that. And I'm going to rename these, call it S2, call this S3, just like that. Perfect. So I got all 3 of them in there. Now what I want to do is, since this one's already linked to this sheet here, now I have to link these two into our sheet set manager. In order to do that, you gotta right click in here, and you want to click import layouts. You want to browse, and we're going to click on our drawing file. Going to click open. We're going to click import, and it should have brought them in. Let me see what happened here. Let's do that again. So right click, import drawing file, open. I think the reason it's not doing this because we haven't clicked save. Maybe that's what it is. Give me 1 second here because they should have brought them in. So let's click save here. Let's click save. Yeah, I think that's what happened. So we're gonna do it again. Right click. We're gonna go import, browse, sheet, open, and there we go. Now you can see that all the sheets. So we already bought these two. This one's already in there. But we'll bring all 3. Doesn't matter. We'll import them. There we go. They're all in there now. Now the next step is to actually start naming each of the sheets. The awesome thing about the sheet set manager is that all the input information that you're gonna incorporate into your title block, it's gonna be directly done through the sheet set manager, through the sheet sets. So I'm gonna click on the first one. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna go to rename and renumber, and then you're gonna get this pop-up window, and then we're gonna call it, for the name of the sheet, we'll call it S1. And then for the title, we're going to call this framing plan. And then for the layout sheet name, it's S1. We'll keep it at S1. We'll go to next. And as you can see, we got the sheet number and the name of the sheet populated on our new sheet set manager. And then for the following one, we're going to call it S2. We'll call this roof framing plan. And then of course it's going to be S2 also for the tab. We're going to click next, and we'll do our last sheet, which will be S3. Our title for this, we'll just call it details, and we'll click OK, and then we have all the information populated here on our actual drawing file. You got to do a regen for it to populate. So if we were to go in and zoom in, if you zoom in, you will see that some of the information is populated, like the sheet number. Other things haven't been populated, and that's because we haven't done anything as of yet for those. So to populate those, for example, you have to go to let's say sheet. You gotta right click, go to properties for the sheet. These are specific to the sheet only. You're gonna get a pop-up window like this, and then here we have the categories, the description. So for this particular sheet, I believe we called it framing plan. So we're gonna add that description to the sheet, framing plan, and then I'm gonna click OK. And if I click regen, it gets populated. Then the next thing is the date, but I believe the date is a sheet. It's a sheet set parameter, so that means it's gonna apply to all the sheets. So in order to change that one, you gotta go to this tab right here. You gotta right click, go to properties, and then for the project date, we'll call it 02/01/2025. And then we'll add the client information too. We'll call this this is a test. And I think these are the only two sheet set custom parameters that we added. And once I click OK and I click regen, it will populate the sheet date and the client information, not only on this sheet but on the rest of the sheets, because it's a sheet set parameter, meaning that it gets applied to all of the sheets like it shows here. So now we're going to go back to our first sheet here, and then again go in here, and then we're going to add I think we have a revision. I think the revision was, let's just go do our properties just to double check if we have revision number. Yeah, we do have a revision number. So for the revision number, we'll call that revision 001. Apply, regen, and I believe that wasn't programmed into this sheet set, but that's fine. Let's do the project site information. I believe the project site information is a sheet set parameter, not specific to individual sheets. So I have to go to this, right click, go to properties, and then go to populating that information, and I believe it's here. Let me double check. Project site. So we gotta see where the project site information is. Don't see it here. Let me see project site. Let's try to see if it's, maybe it is a current sheet parameter only. Project site. I don't see it either here. So let's go back to here, properties, and project creation. It's not showing, so let's call this. I wonder why it's not showing it. Let's double click on it to see where we can always go in here and we can edit we can always edit it and we made it the current sheet set project name. That's the category, project name, and it's a sheet set project name. So having now that we know where it's coming from, we know it's definitely a sheet set. We're going to go back into here, um, and the name, project name, would go here. So we'll call this sample project. This is a sample project. And then once we do that, and we click OK, and we type in regen, it populates it. So there you go. So this is basically how you go about, populating each of these sheets. I would go to the next tabs and do the following ones, but it would just be repetitive. All you have to do is just go back, rewind this video, and then if you need to get further information on how to do it in case you need to repeat the video. The last thing I do want to show you in regards to the sheet list is that once it's generated like this, it's easy to create PDFs. All you have to do is you can right click, you can go to publish, and then click publish to PDF, and once you click on that, it'll give you a pop-up window where you can actually drop your PDF. So it makes it really easy. Or if you go back in here and you want to publish, yeah, you can manage by doing that PDF. Or you can also, for example, you can click and hold on whichever uh, sheets you want to select, and you can right click and you can directly publish those two sheets together. So that's the cool thing about Sheet Set Manager, that you control all the parameters for your title block within this mechanism here. So I hope this video was of great help. And as always, please subscribe to my channel so that you will get the latest updates, because I will be updating more videos that will help you speed up your drafting. See you guys into the next one. Bye bye.